If there's any player that might deliver us the Royal College instead of a Red Palace, it's got to be this guy. Welcome back to the channel, folks. We've got Recon versus Scatterbrain in a best of 3, in which Recon is already leading, and we're getting a good old cavalry pumper. French versus Rus, the two civs that get access to heavy cav in the Feudal Age, going down on dry Arabia. Yeah, very interesting matchup, actually. I think French has been growing in popularity. The interesting thing, guys, is until recently, French was kind of slept on. You know, we had the Pro Scouts meta where French looked really strong. Then post Pro Scouts, didn't really feel like a civ getting touched as much. I think for no good reason either. They were still pretty solid, still pretty reliable, and people are taking back to them again. Meanwhile, the Rus feels like a civ that's been taking hit after hit at the moment. Not really looking as dominant as it once was. With the Pro Scouts meta being nerfed down a little bit, things being slowed, Rus aren't really the beast they once were. And it's definitely being kind of felt when you look at the win percentiles. Rus has been on a downward climb for a while now. I want to say the last 2 or 3 tournaments, in fact. If we go and have a look, let's do Masters Summers, because EGC Masters Summers compared to the LAN that happened recently would have had a lot of games played. With that, statistics in... And Rus had a 35% win rate across 20 games. Pretty brutal considering that, you know, a year ago, you talk about Rus, they are the unbreakable, unkillable civ that had to be banned in every single series. Now, no one cares. But Scatterbrain does. He's been a player that's actually quite enjoyed the Rus for a long time, so not surprised to see him just kind of anchor it into his draft. Recon's draft is crazy, by the way, guys. Reminder of what we're looking at here. He picked Iberids first into French, Mongols, Ottomans. Not really meta, right? Like, maybe the Ottomans you could argue for, but Recon is looking to go in a different direction. Korf said this is because Rus has only played one style. That's not actually entirely true, though. It wasn't that they were just being played one style. It's that people tried to play a different style, but didn't know how to play it. And it's not what you're talking about, where it's Abbey of Trinity versus, like, High Trade House. It's actually the unit comps. Most players were just spamming Horse Archers. And then you arrived in this situation where players knew they needed to explore and do different things. For example, men-at-arms rushes or go for like horsemen. But it wasn't well practiced, right? And it was unfamiliar to Rus strategies. You know, even the idea of like a feudal all-in knight archer mass wasn't really something that was being done in recent months. It's been a super recent addition in the last like 2 tournaments. So people still need to kind of recalibrate and figure out where the versatility is with Rus. The predictable nature is definitely part of why they've been suffering. But it's also the fact that people haven't been amply prepping the alternate strategies. Meanwhile, for French, you know, we've got some versatility there. We don't really see the 2TC approach. Pro Scouts can be there, doesn't need to be there. This is a very good civ at playing onto the resources itself, because they usually have feudal dominance. And then even in the castle up, we still see some variance between Royal Institute play, Guildhall play, pivots early into Arbitrary has been making a creep in. All I know is when I look at Recon, I'm expecting something aggressively aligned on the opening. This guy loves to be the attacker right now. We've been seeing it in multiple series. He doesn't like to sit back. It's not the Recon evolved. This guy used to play competitive Age of Empires 4 in the early days, and his signature style was being attacked. You know, he was doing his best roleplay of the Joker. Hit me. Hit me. You know, just essentially begging to get pummeled to see if he can come out ahead. It's not really the same guy anymore, though. He's evolved. And for the better, actually, I think it was a good direction for him to go in, taking that Age of Mythology experience. Because for those who don't know, like this guy, top 2, top 3 player, he was a consistent podium finish player in Age of Mythology, right? Alongside Mister and Magic, 2 other people familiar to Age of Empires 4. So very capable, had to change his playstyles. Not that you can't boom in Myth, but it's that there's a lot more potency in like the early mid-game options that are available to you. So you have to be present, you have to be aware. And Recon, since he's come back to Age of Empires 4, he's always been looking to fish that damage in the early phase instead of thinking about the late. Yeah, like to put it in perspective, this guy used to have a nickname from me called the Tricky Trader. Because he'd always try to trick you and go into trade in a very weird fashion. Like he had one of the most memorable off-meta trade games I could ever recall, which was on Lipany with Rus. Yeah, me just saying Rus went trade already has you like, huh? Scatterbrain going Pro Scouts isn't going to have you like, huh? Neither is Recon mirroring. I like this, though. Goes to the Knight initially just to kind of pressure away. We'll be scaling into more. Normally, French, they do pro scouts a little bit different than Rus. Rus typically likes to go for, you know, like 6, 7, 8 scouts. Whereas French is quite comfortable at 3 or 4. Just enough to gather up your deer while you keep pressuring. Oh, and by the way, shout out to Thirsty44 earlier. Apologies for the delayed response on that. It was while we were grabbing lunch. Appreciate the Prime sub. Reminder, guys, get those Prime subs in. Supports the channel more than you could ever realize. Same with just standard subbing. Also, if we keep getting more subs, it means I'm going to unlock more sub emotes. And then I've got to fill them with entertaining things. Looks like Scout's rotating around the back. Given Vision of the Night, he does get confirmation that it's going to be the spear opening. This is very standard right now for Rus when they're playing against French. Like, French is just too bullish with their night timings. It's not easy to pick up the deer when you're being pummeled by French Cav. So, correct call coming in, but Recon already knew it was going to go this way. Just step ahead. Archer's already queued up. Thank you very much, Pixelman. Appreciate the Prime sub. Look at that. Another smart cookie. Keep on bumping those subs in. Let's see if we can set a record for the return of KPMM Season 2. Love this. Recon just snatching from the enemy side. Does mean he's got an inferior gathering rate at this phase compared to Scatterbrained. Scatterbrained is going to be able to get that first deer home. Spear's coming out to ensure it. Yeah, but his timing isn't like that much worse, really. Right? He's gathering deer back here, so he's almost mirrored in the timing when they both are going to shift over onto deer, which is a much better gathering rate. Recon needed this optimal timing as well, by the way. He's on his final sheep, so he's actually worse for food gathering right now because he's got 11 on something that can only be gathered by 8. So yeah, he's suffering a little bit there compared to Scatterbrained that still had 7 sheep remaining. Still, even with that detail in mind, with his positioning now, Recon is favored in terms of deer. The problem here is that Scatterbrain stopped at spears. He's only now going to stables, and this is troublesome. Because now you're going to try to mirror knights, but you're already going to be behind. By the time you have your first night out, Recon could realistically have 4 knights. If more. Like, because the other thing you have to remember is that for you, it takes 35 seconds to produce. For Recon, it's only going to take him 29. And his knights are better. 1-to-1, French knights will always beat Rus knights. Yeah, it's due to the charge in. Once you charge in, you activate for an extra +3 damage on 3 attacks. So that's 9 more damage in the exchange. And every other stat is the same. The other thing that's pretty horrible for Rus and why they don't like to play a long feudal here is that French knights will eventually heal with chivalry, the tech that allows you to heal while not in combat. So that means that the longer you play feudal, the worse and worse it gets unless you can edge out a big lead, which is difficult to do, right? Like, there's multiple angles as to why it is. For a start, Rus economically get weaker compared to French because of the faster working TC. And then we already mentioned the knight detail. Your upside as Rus is usually around archer play because you get more wood with the Wooden Fortress, but that's pretty redundant against French knights, right? So you can't just say, I'm going to build 90% archers, because you build 90% archers and your opponent builds 90% knights. Like, you don't need to be a mathematician. You don't need to be conk free to understand how that fight's going to end. Cheeky Scatterbrain, though. Nice. Overwhelm on the east side as well. Scatterbrain. What just happened here? The snatch around the back, but the intercept's coming in. So you will have to duck and run. Knight arrives. He's still not dropping them, though. Does see the archers now? We'll look to retreat. I mean, still, he put them out of position, so it's going to be annoying for Recon to return the goods. But it looks like he will be able to protect it in the end. Cheeky. If that had worked, the advantage he'd have right now. Especially while teching up. Pretty ballsy, even though it doesn't pay off. The good news, at least for Scatterbrain, is it's keeping Recon out of his base while he gets ready for tech. And you can see exactly where that's going to go, right? I think we can guess where the high trade house is getting dropped here. Yeah, left the perfect spot. Recon maybe a little bit suspicious. Might look to play catch up. Normally with French, you don't actually freak out and rush an age up. You just keep spamming knights. Like, just spam knights until you're at 11, 12, 13, and then tech. You're only worried once the horse archer count is at 15-ish. Because at 15, they do a total of 180 damage. Not enough to one hit, but like you're reaching that point. Right, like 15 is your alarm bell warning that one hit kills are coming. So I believe actually is it 20? Because 20, you're going to do 100 and no, so yeah, sorry, it's 22. 22 horse archers will insta-kill a knight. Because you have 3 ranged armor, they have 12 base. Like, actually, technically, less can kill you if the Roost player prioritizes range damage too. But normally, like, you know, if you don't consider that, you can just consider Steeled Arrow under mesh, and then you go from there. They will eventually get range too, but usually by then they already have 22 horse archers. Recon, just going to chase him home. Scatterbrain, getting numbers in. Oh, you did. Look at that. High trade house. Aiming a bit high there, I'm afraid, chat. Probably about 104, 105 gold. And that's with bounty too, by the way. Not that good. Recon. Is it going to be Guildhall? Guildhall would make a lot of sense here just to scale past the raiding phase of the game for Roos. Because, like, this is where they can get a bit dangerous. But if you're able to keep your economy a little bit tight and then rely on Guildhall to scale you up, the Red Palace is very hard for raiding comps to dive anyway. And yeah, it is going to be Guildhall, so coming through. This is pretty much the meta now. Royal Institute makes up maybe, I want to say 10% of games at this stage. It's just not that popular. Hunting cabins give you a whole generation, and it's like getting another villager or two. Why don't pros start building more cabins? The problem is, like, what you're saying makes sense, but not as much sense as you think. The gold gen is not that powerful. You spend 100 wood to get, usually on average, 25 or less back. Usually it's around 20-ish until you're in castle. So think about the maths of that. So if you say it's 20, it's going to take 5 minutes for your investment to pay off. A mana pays off in 3 minutes, right? That's why people build manors. The other reason why people build manors is because of where you could build them. If people had to build manors like you build hunting cabins, people would build them a lot less. Build time is pretty long. Yeah, 45 seconds is a bit rough, but like manas take longer, so I'd refute that point. I don't think that one's as important because like if you think about how long a mana takes to build, people still build them, right? It's a combo of the ROI is much worse. It's 5 minutes to return the initial cost. And the other problem is that you're going to expose yourself because you're going to have to build a hunting cabin here and then here and then here. And then here. Remember what we said about why people don't want to spread wide? They don't want to go double boar and deer at the same time because people jump them. Same logic with hunting cabins. And the difference is with villages, you can run them away from danger. A hunting cabin, because they are not a Mongol structure, cannot pack up and leave. Nice. Nice backstab here. Recon does have the veterancy, remember? So the horse archers, it's going to take even more of them to get the insta-kill. And yes, there is a max gold cap. I think it's 500 or something, but like it's so unlikely you're going to reach that gold cap in the early mid game. That doesn't matter. It's more the danger. Oh, is it 400 now? I think it once upon a time was 500. We just never remember the number because no one ever goes for it. Usually you'll see like maybe 10 in most games. Poke coming in. Archers trying to contest. The veterancy did just kick in, so bad time now for Scatterbrained. He did at least get the trades in before that arrived. Made for a more even exchange, but he's still hemorrhaged more there. Right? 2 knights in his scout for 3 knights plus 3 horse archers. Really, really bad trade for Scatterbrained. At least this will be a little bit better. He does manage to pick up the relic. Tag. Or rather recon. God damn, see what he's doing to me. We'll play tag with these horse archers. Recon with the gold gathering at the back. Yeah, got a pretty good spawn for that. I mean, I say really exposed. He didn't wall it at all. But Scatterbrain isn't really in a position to find that right now. With the way that Recon's circling, he's so close to the base that he can counter dive. Yeah, there's a few maps where you might see Roos do mass hunting cabins. I still remember Viper experimenting with it in the early days of AoE4 on High View. But these days, like, there's a few maps where it happens, not many. High View is the primary one. And the guys that usually do it these days are Wham and Poppypool. Ranged Armor 2 is a smart call. Remember, Vet Archers, they have lower base damage than Horse Archers. So Ranged armor hurts them a lot more. On top of that, we should be approaching the point where Scatterbrain can go for Boy's Fortitude. He's scaling Knights plus Horse Archers. You really need that Boy's Fortitude to contest French Knights. The extra 25 HP will offset Cantled Saddles when it comes in, which would give an extra 30 damage exchange in favor of Recon. He's got the Spearman now arriving. Not really sure you want to be committing into those, which is why they've stayed as Feudal. Not with your opponent being Archer Knight here. We'll keep poking. Recon does have military advantage. Where Scatterbrain is being very careful about this. Ranged Armor 2 is going to be coming in soon. Being mirrored by Recon, though. No micro away by these injured Knights, really. You're just seeing Recon keep them all together. In an ideal world, you just pick and select back each of these injured. The tricky part is, like, sometimes when you're against mobile comps, if you micro away the injured, you actually make it easy for your opponent to kill them. Because if I see something running away, I know to shoot it. Chivalry only coming in now. Yeah, I don't know if he meant to get early and maybe forgot about it. Scatterbrain still does have the Archer lead. It's just the gap isn't that big. Obviously, Archers need to maintain a lead over Horse Archers to be valuable. But the Knight count is what really worries me. Scatterbrain just doesn't have much of a front line right now. Not able to find a raid in there. Scatterbrain quick on a reaction to get away. Archer's bailed. Wow, Recon, he has to recommit the injured Knights. And the health bars do not look pretty. Does need to re-engage his own Knights, which aren't healthy either. Scatterbrained is winning in the relic department after all this, though. And wait a second, Scatterbrained hanging around a little bit long there. Yeah, the Knights are being exchanged for the kills on the Horse Archers, and it's working out quite nicely here for Recon. The other tricky part is, like, these type of fights, usually Rus versus French, they look very close at the start, and the distance grows at the end. And the reason is the French Knights are no longer getting one hit killed, so then you pull them away. It's much easier to micro them away when your opponent has 10, maybe 15 Horse Archers than when they have 20 plus. That's important because it means that these guys, they're not a fallacy. Their health bar isn't a lie. It will heal. So the gap really does matter. Whereas all the injuries taken here for Scatterbrained, you're not going to heal them off. Like, I don't remember the last time I saw a Warrior Monk player do that. Why is Recon not getting Horsemen? Because food is just as valuable as gold here. Actually, more valuable. He's going to run out of food before he runs out of gold in most scenarios. Especially when he's got the other 4k here. On top of that, your opponent's going Knights. If you go Archer Horseman, you have no counterplay to Mass Rus Knights. You're just opening the door to get countered when you should always have Knight advantage. Scatterbrain still trying to ramp pressure. He knows what's coming. Guildhall's at 1140 food already. Yeah, this is... The problem here for Scatterbrained is he hasn't been able to raid in at all. I don't think he realizes that... Oh my god, Recon doesn't realize. Neither player has actually scouted this gap. That's huge. If Scatterbrain knew about this and sent in just, 7 maximum Horse Archers, goes for the goal, go for the ball, the damage it would do to Recon. He needs damage right now. This has been the French eco boost. Valuable in these type of games. When it turns into a bit of a meat grinding stalemate, those slow, faster production rates on villages makes the world of difference. I mean, Scatterbrain looks a bit lost. The other problem with playing mass Horse Archers is walls counter you perfectly. He's only got a small group of burners. So Recon actually might forfeit over the area, though. Yeah, he must almost have tapped the ball. I can't think of any other reason you want to leave here. He's so slow arriving. Scatterbrain, he does see the ball gatherers. Hesitates to go in, though, so it's just going to be a rewall. That was a little bit underwhelming, but welcome to Horse Archers. The win condition is raid, not main fight. Recon, he's going to get punished for the rewall attempt. Trade's coming in. Boys 4-2 is there, though. Hard for Archers to win this fight on their own. They need some assistance, and Now Recon's own wall is kind of griefing him. Yeah, like this is the thing. You create a funnel point to be used against you. Still, Recon, if he can maintain a stalemate in good stead, not able to do so. Got the ball down to 600. Has got the guild hall food necessary. 2.1k food. If he pulls it now, he'll still be lacking the gold. Yeah, the gold needs to be rushed here, actually. I'm a little bit surprised Recon hasn't steered towards it. Villagers are in a pickle as well. Gets chased down Scabrain. Great hit. Locking the berries now. Farms are coming in from Recon. And he has got the discounts online. So the castle will protect him against the full dive. That's something that Scabrain noticed with the scouts. Hence why he backs up. And after all, he does have 3 sacred sites. So logic here is that his opponent should be somewhat worried about coming to him. Gold gathering now on the front side as Recon needs to find a way of just shoveling gold into the economy to get this tech up. I like that he left the food in. There's no point pulling 2.5k food right now. You're scaling knights. You can't afford them without the gold. So just sit on the food because it matures quicker. Remember, when there's a bigger number in here, the number gets bigger faster. It's basically how economy and savings, etc. work. Scatbrain, maybe suspicious. Looks like he's starting to hold reserves. Yeah, it won't take him long to catch up either. 117 gold here, plus the 3 relics, 3 sacred sites. That's going to equate another 540 passive gold a minute. So really wouldn't take him long, and he's also extending onto the berries. Farm count is really low, only 2 in total. So that's his weak point. It's like he doesn't actually have food mass to work with. He's pretty much tapped it all dry. I'm sure why he doesn't peel off units to check. What, on the backside? Like, he's already outposts up, so, like, 3 horse archers here just dies. Scabrain on the stone now. Oh, I think he's investing in this as a win con. Our boys Fortitude Knights better than Royal Knights in Castle Age. Actually, Gully, so Gully is giving you a hard no. That isn't entirely correct. In a linear, we don't do anything fight, yes. The problem is, Age of Empires is very rarely a linear fight. So unless French get cantled saddles, which you'd be surprised how often players forget to get it. Like, he's only getting it now at 40 knights. Unless you get this, you only get plus 3 damage for 3 strikes. That's 9 extra damage. Whereas Boy's Fortitude would be an extra 25 HP. So Boy's Fortitude would allow French Knights to win, Rus Knights to win, rather. But that's suggesting that a fight never moves. And a fight will move, so Knights will charge multiple times, and Knights will heal. Scatterbrain trying to bring Recon to heal here. He has got the Boy's Fortitude plus the Saint's Blessing, so a very tanky front line. Really important up against the Horse Archers as well, but the rotation around the back is big here. The Knights are coming in. And it is going to be a chase away. So Recon, able to defend himself on the gold. The food has been pulled. He invested it all back into Knights. Are you kidding me? Well, it explains where he got 40 Knights. He's down to 200 food income. He needs a big win. Love that little poke from Scatbrain, just renewing the Saint's Blessing. Remember, it is a ridiculously valuable deck. It gives plus 2 damage and plus 1 of each armor type. Recon needs a way of continuing to push deeper. Sacred Site just got renewed again. Scatbrain, he has got more farms coming in than Recon. 9 farms so far. It's not a lot. Yeah, like, this is looking pretty rough on both sides. Every unit is worth its weight in gold. Because gold, in this situation, is food. It's the finite thing, it's the valuable thing, the most important thing. And Recon is swinging so much more of it around in these fights. Yeah, the other thing is Scatbrain more likely to hesitate to turn and fight, which means the healing of the chivalry is kicking in more often for Recon. The charge is coming through now. Scatbrain has to stand somewhere, and apparently this is going to be the place. Archers overkilling the Horse Archers, but who cares? Numbers on his side. Dive comes in looking for the workers. He finds a few, returns to the main clash. Recon now actually outnumbered in Knights. But Scatbrain's villagers! Where the hell are they going? They run... Wait, they just ring-a-rosied! What? I am so confused right now. Scatbrain! How is he worse for wear after that? The Archibald still alive for Recon. The Knights now for Scatbrain looking to clear up. So he should be able to take chunks out of Recon after this. Unbelievable. I just can't believe that. And Recon now with no Knights. Losing like that. I mean, a combination of Boy's Fortitude as well as the Saint's Blessing. And also keep in mind the numbers were deceptive. Recon going down towards 20 when Scatbrain scaled up towards 30. And well, now with the Archibald broken, the Knights reset to 0. Recon needs a lot of farms. He's only got 19 so far. Not a crazy account. Especially when Scatbrain is already sitting... Only 11? Okay, scrap that. Scatbrain is in shambles. Castle drop now coming in to secure the 8k gold. That's going to give Recon the flexi to try and sell food. Or sell gold into food, rather. He has switched back over to food. He pivoted to gold, got it up to about 600, and then switched back. Which is understandable. Like, in this type of game, you're meant to be gold-starved, not food, really. Scatbrain now set up in the center of the map. Anchored in, but his wing con about to disappear. If Recon remembers to actually decap. On top of that, we've got Scatbrain sneaking another castle here to contest both 8Ks. Unbelievable. The creep out is real, but now the other keep. Recon, no! Cancels the run. That's Horse Archer's Knights. There's no getting away from this. Recon's entire worker lead about to evaporate. And the walls from Recon should have seen this as well. Castle up, denying the gold. He doesn't secure the 4K. Recon now in shambles as Scatbrain takes the worker lead. Recon, for all these castles, is not securing him anything. Yeah, the only one that's really working is the one in his base. Siege Workshop now coming in. And looks like we are going to get some shenanigans. I love this. So he'll be able to, what, hide back in this every time he gets interrupted. It's also to set up trebuchets here so that if the Knights dive in, they can't reach him. Crafty little trash panda. Recon, what a state of things. He's going to have to build the castle back on the farms. That's going to give him some protection here. First of the trebuchets is on the way. Recon, he's still got 3k gold, so it's not going to starve him out right now. Food is the biggest issue, but look at the Knight count. Scatbrain, he won rather that critical fight because he had Knight mass lead. Now he's outnumbered. Needs to think twice about this. Cantled Saddles is also there, which will give the plus 10 bonus damage for 5 seconds. And the Guildhall, well, it's up to 860. Still got some ways to go to bail Recon out, but what an absurd game this has become. Both players in a position where you would have expected Imperial Age, reduced back to aggression. And Recon will begin to knock. Scatbrain has got enough stone to keep repairing this, though. 1,200. But all focus now shifts towards this west side of the map. You can see that Scatbrain is steering into it. So, good question about the fight. I believe it wasn't at 40 Knights when Recon went in for the clash inside Rooster's base. It was 40 before over here. The other important thing to remember is that Recon at that stage has 40 Knights across the map. He doesn't necessarily have 40 Knights in the base. And then finally, you're talking about these choke point fights where the melee can't immediately fully clash. That's especially important because of what we mentioned about Cantor Saddles, where it won't be able to activate if you don't charge in, which means Boy's Fortitude makes Roost Knight a bit better. Well, Castle's in trouble. The army needs to be a lot quick. No! He slowed down. One of the units he was charging in on got killed. So he stopped moving over. Castle goes down. Recon again! These castles are cursed. Another one is going to fail. Repair crew from Scatterbrain is working. The Knights think about it, but he thinks twice. Instead, it's now going to be a Red Palace into the center of the map. Recon, he got the Guildhall food. He goes for the land claim in a barren, open area of the map. Yeah, that'll be to set up the Siege Workshop. He just wants a way of hitting into this gold before Scatterbrain takes all of it. This is a night race, remember. Both players require the veins. They may not secure an 8k vein, but remember, Recon has still got a 2400 stone in the back of his base. So he has the means to get additional castle drops. He's already holding 878, which with French is actually enough, folks. Remember, they get a 10% discount off of castles. And no, the Red Palace is not... Oh, come on. Oh, that's a teaser. Oh, it's in range! It's in range! Garrison that baby like there's no tomorrow. Do it, Recon. He doesn't realize. He actually doesn't realize. Guys, if he just puts 15 in right now, this thing's gone. Brrr, come on. Brrr, no? Alright. We're going to slow roll this. I mean, the damage is pretty good off of an Arbalest emplacement here. And it is 2x Arbalest. So he's doing 24 damage every, what, second? Yeah, 1.5 seconds. Trebuchets are going to be sieging. Recon can keep this alive with wood. He has got a cannon coming in. No point slow rolling this with the Trebs when you can get the big boy cannons. Elite Knight upgrade is now in. This is where Scatterbrain's in trouble. He needs an age up. He's fully aware. He's stockpiling gold. Now, Recon could actually just dive in right now. It wouldn't be a bad idea to deny the gold. Yeah, like, pre-Knight upgrade makes sense, but now that you've got Elite, is he waiting for Royal Bloodlines? His gold income is atrocious, so that's an ambitious idea. Scatterbrain now with the Spskaya. Not a great placement. Does at least secure the Ford Wood. Would have been nice to have seen it more up here, but he's paranoid about a dive. Can't dive? You can definitely dive. You poke the front side. The whole idea is to stop the gold gathering, to slow your opponent's tech. You don't dive into these choke points against horse archers, but just here, to scare them off is good. And there you go. He's going to go for the denial. So castle goes down. Trebuchets are now officially overextended and fully bailed on. Looks like he could dive. Yeah, the Scatterbrain did not want to try to contest that. We're going to get back behind the walls now. Now, this is a big moment, folks. Knights on Knights, Rus are actually underrated and undercredited in late game. There's a tech coming in for Scatterbrain that will give him +4 damage. This is pretty interesting. Royal Bloodlines is a little bit better than Biology for sure, right? It's 25% versus 35%. But here's some interesting thoughts for you. That's 270 HP. Extra 10% there is 27 HP. Poleaxes gives +4 damage per strike. In fights that are usually going to take about, what, 10 hits to kill? That means that Poleaxes plus Boy's Fortitude actually allows the Roost Knights to contest. Cantled Saddles makes it a tight affair, but this is another example, like in Castle we're talking about, where if you just A-click into each other, Roost performs surprisingly well. Yeah, like, if you do the 10 damage, so we said 10 shots, let's say, and that's... Like, I'd say French Knights will beat Roost Knights, and French Knights will probably have about, like, 20, 25 HP left. But it is surprisingly closer than what most people would peg it at between a Roost and a French Knight. Now, the problem here for Scatterbrain, his army in some ways is better, in some ways it's going to get a lot worse. Look at the queue from Recon. The problem here for Scatterbrain, he doesn't have much runway to inflate his army further. Recon does. If Recon gets anywhere near 200 pop with Knights, it's going to be a run through. And he's diving towards the gold now. Because if you want more Knights, you're going to need more gold. And this is the perfect secure. But the Red Palace is going to be forfeit because of it. Scatterbrain in with the dive. Able to deny this threatening landmark. But Recon will say worthwhile to get access to the 8k gold. This is his lifeline, remember. Needs to be careful in the retreat. He's got castle drops here. He's got more knights coming. Scatterbrain can't really afford to overextend right now because he does not have biology. The university tech is in. Recon, 364 HP on a knight compared to the mere 295. This is too big of a gap for Roost Knights to win. He has got the horse archers upgraded. Has got the gallop. But doesn't really hold a torch to the French cavalry. French cavalry that is encircling him. Scatterbrained. Well, this isn't even a trap. No, this is a coffin of your own design. The knights are coming around the back now. Recon, he split north though. Horse archers diving in, looking for the worker kills, but now the knights research through. He's going to overwhelm, and he's going to punish him. Scatterbrained. He took the bait. Runs head first into a swirling axe pool of death. Scatterbrained, it's all gone, and it's all gone wrong. I can't believe he took the bait. The most obvious trap in the world. I mean, he saw the knights on the north side waiting. He knew there was reinforcements coming from the French base. What on earth possessed Scatterbrained to take that engagement? I mean, it has to be the gold, right? He needs it just as much. He's got some in reserve, but he knows French knight mass like this, with a 6k gold vein behind them, there'd be no end. And now there most definitely will be. Recon. A ridiculous lead here. He's got 3 archers randomly somewhere. All the rest of this is just French knights. And while they are going to welcome themselves into the Rus home, I hope Mama Babushka made me a nice borscht, because I am famished. 65 knights and scaling. Scatterbrained just hangs around. He doesn't even move away. This is done. And he knows it. The trash panda from behind. The map control looking completely grim. But Recon finds a way out of the headlock to champion French knights in Imperial Age. Absolutely wild. And he knows exactly where to go. Everyone feels safe in the corner, right? Gotta check that corner for all the farms. I mean, Recon, he's a boy who likes playing Call of Duty, so he respects a good corner camper looking to farm a nuclear strike. And this will be his nuke strike. Villagers seeking shelter. Oh, come on! Never trust that button! What has that button ever done for you? Huh? I mean, it's a picture worth 1,000 words, and those 1,000 words are all asterisked out because there's nothing but curse words at that feature. They were all trying to find their way towards the Spasskaya Tower as a priority garrison. So it looks like Recon is going to be proceeding 2-0, but Scatterbrained made it a bit of a nail-biter. It looked like this was going to be full food starvation and no way to come back, but Recon burrows himself out of the hole. He digs his way out of the bottom of the tin trash can and makes off with the goods. Let me know what you guys think about this one. I mean, French versus Rus, we talked about how it could be interesting. The way this played out was quite intriguing as well. The mass knights, the challenge from Rus here, looked pretty solid. You see what I mean on the maths. When you have Boy's Fortitude, it does compete reasonably well. You're only worried when you can't keep pushing, but that's the idea of Horse Archer Knights. Horse Archer Knights should be able to keep chasing. It's not like Archer Knights where you have to slow down and that recuperation favors the French Knights. That's another reason why French Knights actually like playing with archers as well. Is slowing down isn't bad because then you kiss all the injuries better. Looks like Scatterbrain is going to be kissing goodbye to this one. Streltsy switch is cool, but there's just not enough of them. There's too many knights. But I don't get it. Gun beat the knight. Not tonight.